35. And so our original review says go to the bottom, and we know that it's served the furthest to the west. And, but you know, they want to move it up 8 feet. How they can hold the magic number of 20 feet. That's what I know. But in my calculation, it just called that man basically goes to the west side of their property line.
So because everything's just pulled down anyway, it's just that this was at a height, so this has got to blow.
Yeah, and then the yellow actually could be served.
No.
All right, everybody, it's 6:01. Let's call the meeting to order with the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, the clerk would please take the roll.
Present.
Yes.
Present.
Here.
And do we know whether or not Van will be joining us
No,
virtually?
I left the team's meeting open until 6 and he didn't attend, so.
Okay, all right, so we will note, the clerk will note that we have a quorum, 6 members present. Okay, the next item on the agenda is the approval of the agenda. Is there a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda.
Okay, we have a motion by Nicole and a second by Mike to approve the agenda. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, say no. Motion carries. Item 3 on the agenda is the consent agenda. Is there anything on the consent that anybody wishes to discuss?
I'll make a motion, we approve the consent agenda.
I'll second.
Motion by Mike and a second by Nicole to approve the consent agenda. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. Motion carries. Item 4 on the agenda is public input and ideas. Limit 5 minutes per speaker. If anybody wishes to address the board, now would be the time.
I'm Kathleen Colbert. I'm part of the Heritage Committee, and I haven't been fully involved in who's communicating, but we just wanted to make it known that we're working on a draft. I think there was some slowdown because Drew was on family leave, so we were trying to get information from him about the signage and everything. Then I realized he was not at work. So yeah, we were working on a draft, hoping to get on the agenda for next month and present our draft.
Great.
That's all.
What's your address?
What's my address? I live in St. Clair Falls.
Got it. You want to note that, Carrie? Okay, thank you. Is anybody else that wishes to address the board?
Hi, I'm Tyler Norberg. I'm at 101 Second Avenue.
Tyler, can you hit the power button on that, please? Thank you.
Here we go. Okay, I'm Tyler Norberg. I'm at 101 Second Avenue in Osceola. And I'm here today to address you as the chair of the Osceola Trails and Parks Organization. And the mission of our organization is to enhance the Osceola Trails and Parks experience through volunteerism to benefit residents and attract visitors. And our primary funding comes from our annual Valley Brew Fest, which brings about 1,000 visitors to Osceola each year to enjoy craft beer tasting, live music, food trucks, and more. We've been actively building and maintaining the beautiful trail systems in the village for over 10 years. And at our recent board meetings, we've been discussing how Schilberg Park is one of the most underutilized assets in the village, while holding lots of potential to enhance the outdoor experience that could greatly benefit residents and attract visitors. And the comprehensive outdoor recreation plan for the village of Osceola does not address a vision for Shilberg Park, but suggests that a study be done to determine its best use case. Osceola Trails and Parks would love to open a dialogue with the village board to discuss any plans or mandates that might exist for the future of Shilberg Park. And if none exist, perhaps our team could partner with the village to help enable a Shilberg Park recreation plan. Can we open a dialogue with the village, and who are the best people for a meeting to get it started? Thank you.
Thanks, Tyler. Anybody else that wishes to address the board? Okay, seeing nobody else, we will move on from item 4 of the agenda from public input. Item 5 is staff reports. First up, fire.
Howdy, everybody. Last month we had 15 runs total, 9 are in the village of Osceola, 3 in the town of Farmington, 1 mutual aid with Dresser and 1 mutual aid with Alden. Run breakdown was 6 medicals, 5 motor vehicle accidents, 1 controlled burn, 1 alarm, 1 structure fire, and 1 ice rescue. Training for December, we just made up all our training that we're required to do for the year. It's kind of a makeup night. The training for in 2 weeks will be HIPAA and bloodborne pathogens. And last night we did the preparation for the Fireman's Ball. We stuffed envelopes and sent them out. So my last thing is I invite all the board members to the Fireman's Ball February 14th. So any questions?
I got a quick question.
Okay.
And it actually pertains to some of the budget stuff later and some of our capital stuff.
Got it.
It looks like your grass rig is the next one you want to replace
Yes.
at 380,000.
Well, it's the price that we have to put together now because we're not on until next year on the capital expenditure. And
Is it really worth that? A replacement rig?
go pricing.
Well, I know what a new F-250 is 80,000, and then you put pumps and a rig on the back. I'm struggling where the extra $200,000 is.
It's just one of the bids that we've got that is a turnkey
Sure.
one.
Yep.
We probably won't be doing that. We'll probably be building our own, and it'll probably be a lot less.
Okay.
But I have to make sure that we
Yeah, you got to pick a
cover,
number.
the price, and it'll probably be a lot less than that.
I saw all your numbers were and I know there's issues with the cost of new rigs coming up.
Yep.
But all those numbers were a lot.
Yeah. Price of fire
Probably
trucks.
buy a bulldozer for that. Heck with putting the grass out, just bulldoze it over.
So,
Okay, thanks.
anybody else? Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks, Paul. Next up, police.
Hi, everyone.
Hey, AJ.
Okay.
All right. So December last year, we compiled 75 incident reports, took 8 traffic crash reports. We made 6 arrests and submitted 2 criminal referrals. Our officers initiated 163 traffic stops and issued 90 citations. Police administrative assistant processed 12 requests for records and background checks. Some of the notable incidents that we responded to in December included 6 separate offenses where drugs have been located by our officers, 3 OWI first offense incidents, 2 protection order violations, a report of unlawful communication with the electronic device where the suspect was located and arrested. We've been pretty diligent as far as enforcing our overnight winter parking ordinance and removing vehicles for snow emergencies as well. We also assisted St. Croix Falls PD with a search warrant by providing scene security. Another thing that was beyond December, but on January 3rd, we responded to a traffic crash involving a pedestrian who was subsequently airlifted. Happy to report that that pedestrian's recovered and doing quite well considering. That incident did not involve a crosswalk. We haven't issued any citations for that. Just want to take the time to note that downtown gets pretty congested at times, so just encourage people to utilize crosswalks, encourage drivers to be very observant when they're going through there, because we do have a lot of cross-traffic pedestrians that's outside the crosswalks. So otherwise, as far as administration goes, Officer Valine is on his own. He's passed field training, so we're back up to 24-hour coverage as best we can, which is awesome. We participate in a bunch of different community outreach efforts. We participate in Shop of the Hero up at St. Croix Falls at Walmart. It's such an awesome event where we get to interact with kids from our area. We usually get paired up with local kids as well, which is great. We kind of give them a positive note for Christmas. We also did our Stuff the Squad event. We were able to raise over 700 pounds in non-perishables for the open cupboard, which is another fun event that we love doing. Other than that, we're in the process of updating our lethality assessment programming tool. We use this to, following domestic incidents where we essentially assess the lethality of the relationship. And if it gets to a point where it's a high risk, we refer that person to outside resources so they can get the help they need. We're looking to go to an electronic format for that and update our form. So otherwise, the only other thing I noted, we were having transmission issues with one of our squad cars, but we were able to get that fixed at the dealership. Luckily, it was under warranty, so we're back up to a full fleet for the moment. So just wanted to touch on 2025 a little bit. So really busy year, really positive year. You know, looking back, we were able to hire 3 full-time officers and get them on the road, which is awesome. You know, crazy time, but we got there. We created the school resource officer program with the school, which is great. Gives those kids a positive experience with the police officer and gives us more quick response time to the school if an incident should happen. So really happy we were able to get that program off the ground. And, you know, we were able to get that sex offender ordinance passed, give our kids a little bit more safety in our community. So just some stats. We compiled 873 incident reports in 2025, took 35 traffic crash reports, made 33 arrests, 7 warrant pickups, 23 criminal referrals. We processed 47 misdemeanor offenses and 12 felony level offenses. We initiated 767 traffic stops, issued 466 citations. So looking forward to 2026, and I think it's going to be a great year. So any questions for me?
Which vehicle had the transmission issue?
That was our 2022 squad car.
Do we have a pickup?
No,
Are we buying a pickup?
I'm hoping to.
Depends if you pass the CIP tonight.
I need a pickup, don't we, Mike?
I don't know. Why you gotta ask me that question? There was, yeah, the pickup's on the agenda, but there was something, I was reading through the agenda tonight and something about you fitting it up yourself or something. What was,
I'm not sure what you're referring to.
I'd have to go back. Out of the 217 pages,
Okay.
didn't have a chance to print it out and make notes.
Well, when we get to that, feel free to ask me. Any other questions? Awesome. All right. Thanks all.
Thank you.
Thanks, AJ. All right, next up, Public Works.
Good evening, everyone.
Todd.
Busy end of year. We had over 10 snow events in December to initially respond to and follow up with. As you can see, our streets are in pretty excellent shape, thanks partial to the weather and also to the staff's hard work. We knew we had a brief period of time before things would turn ugly again, so we wanted to get that disgusting layer of ice off. Downtown cleanups, hauling snow, continued salt and sanding. We've done roughly 140 ton in November and December, which is close to 30 truckloads. In order to keep the streets and sidewalks safe that belong to the village of Osceola and its residents. 6 police callouts to respond to with adverse weather in December, whether it be rain, freezing rain, initial snow events that got slippery immediately, but we were able to respond to all of them quickly. Maintenance, preventative maintenance and equipment to look, equipment that took up a considerable amount of time. Sometimes more than what it takes to actually deal with the snow event in itself. As I mentioned in the report, we have $1 million of equipment hitting in the streets roughly every time. So we don't get to walk, turn our keys off and walk away. Everything from washing, greasing, sanding, rewiring, whatever it might be. That's what comes up in the following days after everything's complete. So, so far we've been very fortunate this year. We've been able to take care of everything internally. We haven't had to outsource anything. So no major cost repairs, taking care of them ourselves. We're continuing to remove emerald ash borer. Some may have noticed a lot of those really nasty ashes. Ash trees have been taken care of on both Cascade and River Street. We know we have a lot more to do. We know there's a lot of private ones that are infected. Talked to some residents already in 2026 and how we're going to sort of approach that this year and dealing with it in our urban forestry code and what we're going to probably potentially require. Definitely backed off in 2025 until we got a handle on our own public tree situation, and then we'll start working with the residents and having them removed appropriately before they become dangerous or continue to infect other trees. Stormwater's been a big priority. We've been very fortunate. Light monitoring, no major freezing, no flooding of our streets. So been doing good there. Cap off theater, we did 37 village right-of-way permits. It can be time consuming. We usually leave them open. I leave them open for about a year for remediation process. The sidewalk needs to be removed. If they're digging in our right-of-ways, if they're digging in our streets. So it'll be follow-up from 2025 permits in 2026 to make sure everything's put back appropriately by the contractor. Revenue for 2025, roughly $15,000. In Parks, final submittal for our Tree City 2025 package. Excited to hear today that the regional coordinator approved. It's going to the state coordinator now. In part of the emerald ash borer situation, all of our wages, tools, fuel, trucks, anything basically we do with tree related watering, goes towards that application process, and we triple it for every. It's about $2 in order to be a participant and be granted Tree City. It's about $2 per resident. We usually triple that annually, so we put a considerable amount of time and energy into the trees, and that's good. It's good for the village. Prep and set up for ice skating rink. We're ready to go. We're excited to open for Christmas. Unfortunately, the weather didn't comply and still really isn't complying. We've got about 4 or 5 inches of water on it right now, partially frozen, not frozen. So we suggest that staying off at this time. Daily cleaner and monitoring of our parks and buildings continues. We clean our lower park daily, and then we monitor all of our buildings that are sort of in a dormant status, still heated, water accessible, things like that. I've got some great news from the Wisconsin DNR and Virginia Tech, who we work hard with, mostly to ensure that they have the availability to get into our bat cave and study the bats. So we're up in brown bats, we're down in our tricolors, we're down in our long-eared, but brown bats are coming up, so they're excited about that. So we work hard ensuring that they have access when they're necessary. More importantly, we make sure to work hard to keep people out. So we've only had about one entry in probably 5 years, 6 years now, so that's good. Building maintenance, minor maintenance spaces occur in December. No real large issues presented themselves. We continue to monitor the heat of the building and things like that, make sure the PMs are up to date. Any questions?
I got a few.
Okay.
Shocking, right?
I'm ready.
Thanks for your responses. They've been great.
Yes.
On the lighting,
Yes.
if you're running into issues with retrofit kits for fixtures,
Yes.
quit buying retrofit kits. Just buy new fixtures. From a long-term standpoint,
Okay.
you're probably better off, especially if it's taken 6 months.
Yeah, that's
September
what
till now,
yeah, we're experiencing upwards from 3 to 6 months. You know, we'll sort of set
technology is
it over.
changing fast.
It is.
I just get rid of the retrofit kits and move on. The ash borer tree removal,
Yes.
what's our procurement level? Is it $5,000 for bidding? 10?
Well,
I
services
think he
like
has-
that, both services are exempt from that, but we did reach out to companies for tree removal.
Multiple quotes, lowest bid. We worked in unison. We wanted to keep that cost low. Obviously wasn't budgeted for, came over just over $6,000.
Which is
Yeah.
a crazy good price for what we got.
Yeah, for some reason I was thinking 5,000 was the number. And I saw that one hit like 5,600 or something. It was just over it. And if you know that you've got trees that you're getting rid of, maybe just package them up and bid them out.
That's
Because
what we did.
later on tonight, we're gonna start talking about budgets and saving money.
Yep.
So I was trying to find things that were round numbers that look like ended with zeros and things that were over $5,000. It's like, well, was there a competitive process and how do we save money or how do we plan better?
Yeah.
Um,
Reached out to 3 local tree services and then also ensured to cut costs by involving all 3 of our staff in the removal process, which cut costs by 50% easily.
it's one of those where we know the tree's dying. Maybe you just make a list every year and put it out or something. And then obviously the snow removal, I came into town here a week ago and there was somebody walking down 35. And I appreciate your comments about there's a discrepancy in our ordinances about whose responsibility they are.
Sure.
Hopefully the town just figures it out on their own. Because it's a hassle for both you and the police department, so. Okay, that's it. Thanks.
Anybody else? Thank you.
Thanks, Todd. Next up, utilities.
Hey, good evening, everybody. So I'll do some highlights on this one. The major one that we're doing right now is monthly billing. We're in that process right at the moment. And we are making the changes to our billing software right now and our rates right now to reflect that monthly billing. Wish us luck on that one. I think we'll be just fine. But it's a lot of work upfront to get that started and rolling. So first monthly bill will go out at the beginning of February for the period between December 13th, which was the last read, and January 13th, which would be this read here. So process, another side of that billing side, process for the ACH payments has been set up. We offer ACH payments now. You can get a form on our website, fill it out, send us a voided check, and we can do an ACH payment right out of your account. I believe there's no fees on that unless your bank imposes one. Unlike our PSN payments where there's a 3% fee on that. Am I right on that? There's a 2.75. There's a fee. There's a credit card fee on it. Hold that. Operators had some challenges over Christmas and New Year's. If you're going to suffer a failure, why is it not going to be over the holidays? That is now repaired. Automatic Systems came out and was able to splice a cable in. The cable itself had some, just looked like some UV damage to it or where they had bent it. And some water intrusion to it. And that was able to be spliced, I believe it was last week, and is up and running again. So a lot of paperwork, a lot of stuff to get in at the end of the year. To make sure we're compliant in our permits and everything. And we made it, we're good, everything's good, but with the holidays in there, you throw the holidays in there and there's just a lot to do. So any questions on that?
Where are we at with the water main replacement?
Eric's gonna talk about that. Do you want to talk about it now or you want to wait till?
Let's talk about it now.
Okay.
That's fine. We've started some tree clearing, which has to be done between November and March. And then work can start as soon as May 15th. We do have a schedule outlined. We've been in close contact with the businesses, and we had a meeting with the DNR to just kind of touch base with them. That's because of the funding that's available for the project through their Safe Drinking Water. And we've started some shop drying reviews. We will look to set up a pre-con as we get closer, though, to the actual construction sometime in the spring here.
So you've got a schedule or you don't have a schedule?
Do have a schedule, yep.
When was the award?
November meeting?
So we're early November. So we're 60 days in? Okay. You want to send me the spec?
Sure, yeah, happy to.
This is just like the Simmon Drive project where we were 6 months in and there wasn't a full submittal done. There wasn't the schedule wasn't really called out and it just kept dragging on and on and on. So and one of the complaints I heard on some of the downtown projects is that nobody really knew what the schedule was. So I get that you've written one, but again, your spec probably calls out 30, 60, 90-day type things when deliverables are supposed to be there.
Yeah.
So you send it to me, I'll look at it and then just make sure that I'd love to see that you've got all that stuff done that's called out there so that we don't end up in issues with Pember where we're talking about extensions because they don't meet the schedule.
Yeah, fair. Yeah, and in our contract documents, I think it's 10 days from execution of contracts that they provide preliminary schedule.
And you
then,
got it?
What's that?
And you have that?
I do. And then, we'll revisit the schedule again at the pre-con too.
Sure. So if I were to walk into the gas station and they would know approximately what month they need to worry about rescheduling their deliveries and
I did not talk to the gas station.
the key person involved in this, and you have not talked to them.
The staff has made those contacts.
We've not talked yet. Yeah, there were some changes that
So everything you said a minute ago about talking to the businesses is actually not true.
I did not say that.
He did.
Okay. I know
You
you've talked
didn't,
to,
but he said that he did, but he just said he didn't.
I have not talked to the business owner at the BP yet.
Let's just table this and let's do a better job at the next meeting.
Can I? Sure, that sounds good. Thank you.
Next up, library.
Hello. So with a vacation and 2 midweek holidays in December, it was a very quick month for us. I wrapped up the 4th and final class, Public and Community Library Services, for my director certification at the beginning of December, and then spent much of my time at the library planning and implementing programming and marketing for the 2026 WMPL Cold Nights Hot Reads Adult Winter Reading Program. We circulated over 3,100 items in December. We had 124 public computer checkouts, 1,474 ebook checkouts, and we had 12 new patrons. In December, we added 118 new items to our shelves for circulation. The new collection of box books have proved very popular, with many of these books currently checked out. We received another shipment of those books the last week of the year, and they are now currently available for checkout. And in 2025, we added 427 items from our collection due to donations, which were worth $10,144. Community members donated books, DVDs, and items for our Library of Things. Some of the items replaced well-loved items that were already owned, but the majority were new items that we added to our collections. And included in that number are the Vox books that we have already received, as those were from donations and monies from a Polk Burnett Operation Roundup grant. Many of our regular programs occurred in December, including Tech Help, Lunch with the Librarian, Fiber Friends, Storytime, Lego and Chess Clubs, and the WNPL book discussion. We also hosted a Schools Out Activity Day on Osceola's In-Service Day, and the library gnomes were hiding throughout the library for a fun interactive scavenger hunt for all ages. And then I also delivered materials to Evergreen Millside Apartments and Christian Community Home. Our battle continues in moving our VoIP phone service from Easy IT Guys to Evergreen Tel. We are very close and we have the new phones plugged in and can make calls out. However, we cannot, as of this writing, receive calls yet. So we're still dealing with that. It's a matter of a PIN to transfer our current phone number from one company to the other company, and for whatever reason, it keeps getting rejected. So we have a lot of frustration. We have a lot of upcoming events, but one that I would like to highlight with all of you is this Thursday. We have a local author, Joshua Shores, coming to talk about his book, Counting on Death. He was a Marine that served in Iraq and Afghanistan, and so he shares his story there and the psychological and emotional impacts of combat, as well as trying to return to civilian life. Any questions?
And what time is that event?
at 6 PM on Thursday.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
What's our total budget for the library?
I would have to look, I believe it's like 355,000.
So the 17,000 is what, 5%?
Sure.
Math, sorry.
Yeah.
I'm winging it. Good enough.
Right, thanks.
Thank you.
All right, next up, building inspection.
Yeah, so year-end building inspection report. I am actually quite pleased year after year. We've been above 80 permits the last 4 years. 2022 seems to be the outlier, 103 permits that were issued that year. If you look at the graph at the end of the report, it basically shows you that new homes have been pretty steady over the course of 5 years. So once again, with the outlier being 2022. So the growth has been pretty level, sustainable. And then building permit numbers have been greatly impacted by large projects. So the values go up and down depending on the large projects, which you really can't budget for or expect every year. But so far the last few years, we've been very lucky to have many large projects come into the community. In a look ahead at 2026, we should see another large projects coming in as we have the Osceola Bluffs building permit that will be issued. And we also have another 3 Wurzer buildings that will be issued also. So 2026 going forward will be another big year for building permits for valuation with that. This is important as a lot of the single family homes do help with increase to our net new construction for our levy. So we can see increases there. So the new homes, especially the new single family homes, really do play an important part into that. With that, I'll ask you any questions that you might have on the building and maintenance or the building permit report.
Doesn't appear to be any.
All right.
That was great.
Administration.
So my admin report is more looking forward to 2026 and everything that we have going on in the village. There's a lot of stuff that is going to happen the next coming year. I kind of label these out in kind of the impact to the community of how they're going to go forward. The big thing that we all know is going to happen in 2026 is the MnDOT Highway 243 Bridge Reconstruction Project. They're going to begin mobilization in the fall and winter of 26 with construction in 27 and then final completion in 2028. We do know that this will have impact on especially the day-to-day life of the community as it really is the only quick way across the border. So now there will be a 15-minute detour north or south, depending on which direction you have to go. I'm optimistic that it won't have a big impact on the tourist side of the community as most of the people from the metro area come up 35 as is already. So I'm much more worried about the day-to-day businesses in the community and how we can work together going forward as a community to help these businesses that might struggle during these times. And also it's going to affect the school as Franconia is part of the school district too. So I don't know what the school's going to do going forward with that, but there are some kids that will be affected for this bridge project also. The other major project we got going is major infrastructure improvements. I'll kind of lump some of these in. River Street and 3rd is going to be a big improvement as the current main there is over 100 years old. Same can be said about the water tower main too. That is also over 100 years old. So there's a lot of old infrastructure in the community that we're looking to replace. Without a lot of the new projects that we have going on in the community, these projects will not be available to do to us due to the significant cost. So without the tax increment financing that we have for these projects, we would not be able to really afford these projects that we're doing without heavy burden on the taxpayers. So these growths, while they don't impact our levy, they're allowing us to do these projects to improve our infrastructure that are a very expensive cost for the village. So the River and 3rd Street is a big one. The Bluff Tower water main is another huge one. We want to make sure that we're replacing our infrastructure before it becomes an emergency. So being preventative is also another good way to save money, as once you're being reactive and repairing stuff, that's when costs really start to escalate. Number 4 is the Osceola Bluffs apartment project. They plan a groundbreak in March. Demo thank the Lord, has almost completed now. So we're happy to see that that building of the old hospital site is no longer standing after long communications with the developer on that. So that building is gone, and the groundbreaking will start here shortly for that project. CE Werzer project on top of the hill by Quick Trip. They will have 2 buildings completed by June 1st. With that too, we are extending Ridge Road to come out on the top of the hill by Quick Trip by 35 and then closing it down the hill. We will be creating a bike path, walking path up the current Ridge Road where it is currently, which will be closed off to traffic. Once again, without a tax increment district, this project would be very hard for the village to go forward with it. So another thing that development is leading to these infrastructure projects that help both the tourist side, walking traffic, and also the daily life of our residents too. This would also make 35 a safer place to be as we're eliminating another access point onto 35, especially one so close to 243 and 2M. So we're excited to get those extra access points off 35 also. And I know WisDOT is really happy with seeing a lot of those being eliminated too. I talked about that one. We should be finishing our Cascade Falls and Stairway and Gristmill Park redesign. May 15th is the deadline. They are currently ahead of that deadline, so I hope they finish early. But we're excited when that park will finally open and we'll have a new staircase down to the falls. This is right now currently phase 1 of potential 3 phases of this project. Phase 1 and phase 2 are the only ones that we're really are certain will happen. Phase 3 is a big grand project that might happen in the next 10 to 20 years, depending on cost, as that is the most costly aspect of this. But phase 1 and 2 is definitely there to improve accessibility for the walking path and to upgrade the walking path as it currently sits too. 7 is the Gateway Park. We are creating a new park in the village out in Gateway. It will have a dog park, a playground, and a walking path. I know that some of the playground equipment just arrived last week, and Todd helped unload that equipment. I'm not sure when the install date is going to happen, so I wrote sometime summer 26 for the final install of that park. Some other areas that we're looking at is going to take a lot of time. Number 8 is our village code modernization. Those conversations are already happening at the planning commission level. We're looking to change our village code to be a little more modern and to make more sense as we go forward with the needs of the community, addressing some of the issues that we see deficient in our code, such as we already addressed one of them, which was the width of lots that potentially could happen in the future. So that is going to be a big undertaking. It's probably going to take all year working with the planning commission to modernize our zoning chapter. The last one is a big one, the transition to monthly billing. We are excited for this, for the residents, for the water and sewer department. It helps stabilize revenues. It helps makes budgeting for the end user easier, that you're paying month to month and not every 3 months. So we're excited to go forward with that. And then with that, sometime in spring, we'll be rolling out our stormwater utility also with the monthly billing. So any questions on the kind of the timeline for 26?
Where did we leave off with? I thought did Farmington do a traffic study coming in 35 that we partnered up with or something?
No, they wanted to do a speed study. And at this time, I do not feel that doing a speed study will do us any good in this community, as speed study looks at how fast the traffic is going. The speed study will only confirm that the traffic is warranted to go 55 miles an hour. WisDOT told me that too, that until there's something that will drastically change the speed, whether it's man-made or development, the speed limit is going to stay 55. So with that, I've been looking at potential options of how can you slow traffic down through other means, which would be such things as a roundabout or more housing development on east or west side of 35, and then more commercial growth also going out to the hospital site too. Without that, the speed is going to stay at 55.
Was there a turn lane part of the DK thing?
No, not at the current first. WisDOT said that the first development would not require it. Okay. Going forward, under development agreement, we're going to have to say that any development that goes in after that requires a turn lane will be put in at cost for the developer. We will be the permit owners and the road owners, so we would have to make sure that we are billing or collecting the revenue from the developer that would require the turn lanes to go in there.
So it's down the road.
Down the road, yep.
Where, did the Ridge Road get bid out?
It's out for bid right now.
Next February, next meeting at February, we'll have the bids.
When's the bid due date?
It's the 10th, which is the same day as the meeting.
Okay. So yeah, bid results will be in minutes, hours before our meeting.
Yeah.
How come the sidewalk didn't go all the way up 35 and it turned up Ridge Road? There's a section from Ridge Road up to the senior housing.
Currently, you mean right now?
Well, the new plan takes it up the old Ridge Road and then cuts back.
Goes around, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Versus just going straight up the hill. The sidewalk.
Yeah, so go up the old Ridge Road instead of continue all the way up the sidewalk?
Yeah. Up 35. Why didn't the sidewalk go up 35? It turns up Ridge Road, connects up the old Ridge Road, connects there and then cuts back,
Just
right?
keep people off 35, more
Okay.
Yeah.
more
So a
aesthetic.
Softer elevation change too.
Sure, versus just a straight up and down. Okay. I'm just curious. Eventually somebody's gonna walk down there. I was just curious why it went there. So. Okay.
And this report is on the website too for anyone that wants to see it.
Other questions for Devin?
Gonna be busy.
It's a lot of stuff on the calendar. Okay, thank you. We don't have anything listed for Osceola, Wisconsin Main Street, just says not applicable, so we'll move on to item 6 of the agenda, which is other business discussion and possible action regarding 6A, D&K Commercial Sewer Depth Discussion and Action.
All right, I will do my best as hopefully my voice holds out for the meeting tonight. So we, at the December meeting, we approved the site plan for D&K, or was it a special meeting in November? I can't keep, but anyways, we approved the site plan for the D&K development, commercial development between the Auto Body Shop and the Wild Violet. Since then, it's come to light that the developer has asked the village to reevaluate the depth of the sewer connection at 35. The bids came in much higher than they were anticipating, which would lead to problems of the project not being able to happen at the current cost for the water sewer connections. So what they're asking tonight is that we would allow them to connect the sewer at 20 feet instead of, was it 28 feet? Yep. Instead of 28 feet. With that, Aaron, Sundin, and Dan are here tonight to kind of discuss the numbers of why it wasn't going to work, and then the ask of the village board. In your packet, Eric has done the math to show the difference between the depth of sewer and what it means for development and future development. And then also in your packet, you also have the quotes from JNS that Dan and Aaron have provided, kind of a drawing of what their future road might look like. That development is no longer not part of their plan, so they kind of drew on top of it what it might look like for the development. And then their engineer note is also in the packet that also describes the methodology that Russ used to get to these numbers. With that, I will turn that over to you two.
Thank you. Aaron Sundin with Derrick Companies. We are the general contractor on this. A little kind of a history back, I believe it was approved in November. But prior to that, we were on the agenda for Plan Commission at one point, and we were tabled, so not able to speak at that meeting. But our submission at that time was for the 20-foot sanitary line. The discussion that happened at Plan Commission was if the sanitary line was dropped to 28 feet, would that determine or potentially take away from the need for a lift station in order to be able to gravity feed to the west of this site? Now you have the Tronroot property, the D&K property, which we're doing right now. D&K also has 17 acres to the west of that, plus another chunk of land, piece of land that Dan is a partner with a couple other local businessmen, and another piece to the west of that. So it's quite a long stretch. From that meeting that was tabled, we took those comments, went back, and we changed the plan to be at 28 feet for the sanitary depth. We did not have pricing at that point for what that cost would be. So through the process of working through approvals at the village, we're getting our numbers for the sanitary and all the utilities. And that 8-foot drop is a tremendous cost burden. You end up with taking out more material. You end up with a lot more heavy equipment that needs to be used. The safety of it is also a component that adds to the cost. So after the approvals is when we kind of had our numbers come in on going with the 28 feet. I reached out to Devin and said, we'd like to look at being able to go back to 20 feet. And the intent behind that was we did a lineal footage. Basically, we took from where we were connecting to and the elevations it's going to be, because it's gravity, it's going to be going up even though slightly, and realize that there's no way that a gravity feed at 28 feet was not going to need a lift station. So 28 feet or 20 feet, it's going to need a lift station there at some point. Now, keep in mind, this is a private development, so you've got a developer here that's willing to pay that cost. There might be TIF benefits, but with 28 feet, we're sitting here with a cost burden of almost $500,000 with all knowledge, knowing that we're going to still have to put a lift station in at some point on that west side. So that's why we're here tonight, to talk about that part of it. Even with the 20-foot depth, we're still looking at the developer putting in about $1.5 million in utilities to connect to this site for the future development. So it's still a substantial amount, but you tack on another $500,000 and it just doesn't make the project feasible. So that's where we're at with this.
Eric, any information that you want to provide that
I guess maybe just some real quick background, kind of a staff review, so the original plan came in, and which is a plan that we're back to now, of putting the sewer at a depth of 20 feet, where the existing sewer on the east side of 35 is 8 feet lower. And looking at kind of where that served to the west with gravity before a lift station versus the plan, we requested that you lower it all the way down to how deep the sewer is out there. Aaron makes a good point, and it doesn't, regardless of that additional 8 feet of depth starting, it doesn't eliminate the eventual need for a lift station as you move west. And did include a map, Devin pulled up on the screen here too, I did some calcs, and the green space is roughly where you would get in an 8-foot sewer. Again, they're rough numbers, but that's about how far 8-foot deep sewer gets you. And that's kind of what we had required for minimum depth with the Wurzer development as well. And so that's kind of where my basis was. There's argument, I think, in Cedar Core's memo as well, that, now that we know that this isn't going to be residential with basements, maybe an 8-foot depth isn't needed for all of development. And could that go further? I think it could, but we wanted to just show where we got the 8-foot depth as well. And I think another thing to note too is we don't know, they provided a sketch of how those lots might develop, how a road might go in and connect back to Ridge, but we really don't know how that's going to develop until it does. Could somebody come in and buy the full 40 that is listed as KM3 on the drawing? Maybe. And the yellow space is shown of what can be served by 8-foot deep gravity sewer, the village's standard from Ridge Road. And so there's a large portion to the west that could be served, and could more of the properties that aren't even highlighted on the map be served, depending on how it develops, and depth of sewer that's less than 8 feet. So I think that it's, knowing the cost, it's something good for the board to consider. You know, this alternative, which was the original plan they submitted.
I think also, that, just to comment, there was confusion because at one point, the developers had thought about a residential development back here. And some maps got around and we shared one with Devin over a year ago. But then we realized it's in that airport overlay zone and you can only build 1 unit per 10 acres there. So our intention and the discussions that we've had with the village have been to come back to the village and rezone some of that land to industrial commercial. We've done some research with brokers and feel like there's the opportunity there for that being better usage of that land and being able to, you know, go in there and build some very nice tax increment type properties or taxable properties. But to Eric's point, we don't know if the need will be for someone that wants, say, a 10,000 square foot building on 3 acres or 40,000 on 10. That's all things that we'll have to work with the village on once we rezone it and look at how that might be planned for future.
Where's the sewer for Quick Trip and the assisted living?
So right here, it comes into Ridge Road right here. So any development that would come west of here, we would actually tie into the main right here.
That's
So-
out in Ridge Road.
Okay, and that's already got enough slope and there's no issues or anything?
So this line going to 8 feet would service all the way back to here. So that'd be no concern whatsoever for Ridge Road. So Eric kind of drew the line of how far gravity could feed that from Ridge Road. Realistically, if these are commercial, you would probably get somewhere out to here with that 20 feet.
So the only area potentially that is gonna, the left half of the lower part of KM3 would potentially require the lift station,
Potentially, yes.
which it looks like it's 12 acres.
And if someone comes in and buys all the land, it'd be a moot point because it'd be building on all the land and it would serve gravity. Well, if like a Polaris came in there or something, they would use up all the land and it'd be just gravity.
Parking.
Yeah.
Which wouldn't need septic anyway.
I mean, my sense I was not at the plan commission meeting, or was I at the meeting in November where this was approved? But I think the primary rationale I heard from the village was about trying to avoid a lift station, and the 28 feet wouldn't do that. So I think it kind of makes the whole 28-foot conversation moot, because regardless, you would still need to put a lift station in. And I don't think we want to be, we need development in the community. And if that solution is not going to prevent that issue from happening anyway, then I don't know why we would force anybody to try to solve something that can't be solved by a 28-foot sewer.
Are we looking for a motion to approve a 20-foot?
Yes, yeah.
I'd make that motion.
I'll second.
All right, that's the end of the discussion on this topic. We have a motion and a second to amend the 28-foot depth of the sewer line to 20 feet. Motion by Mike, second by Neil. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, say no. Motion carries. Okay, 6B, MSA Professional Services. 1, discussion and adoption of capital improvement plan.
Well, the man who created your 217-page document's coming up next to answer all your questions. Drew created a very nice 5-year capital improvement plan, the basics of which were recommended for approval at the December admin finance meeting. This plan has much more meat to it. It explains every project that we're looking at doing in the future. There were a few additions from the plan that was at the December meeting, one of which is an illustrative for a potential future sidewalk on Depot Road, just so that we keep that project available to us, that we're thinking about it, because
Thank you.
certainly that area is underserved, especially for the constant use that it gets. So if we keep that in illustrative, we can always move it around. Reminder that capital improvement plan is a living document. If changes or needs change, we can change this thing as we see fit too.
As often as we see fit.
So Drew, if you would take the floor on this huge document, I love it, by the way, thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Devin. And there are a couple blank pages, so I'll take credit for blank pages and whatnot. But tonight I'm presenting this update of the past CIP plan. It still has 7 sections, but a new update to this plan is it now includes priorities or purposes that are defined. Those priorities and purposes, they are the department heads' information. So I ask them to fill out a informational sheet. If they filled it out or we work together in a meeting, that is their information. And that's how it was decided. This plan, just to remind the village board again, it's developed to deal with this difficult task of allocating this limited resource, which is our capital borrow amount, to basically an unlimited amount of demands that we have. As we were just talking about 100-year-old sewer pipes. We're familiar with our road system and our capital maintenance that is required on some of our public buildings. So this plan, it's our guide. It's also just our list of all of our projects in the village. So that way our trustees, they can make educated decisions. And also we can minimize any kind of reactive borrowing that needs to happen. So a couple comments to start off my review on the plan is that the plan as it stands for year 26 and 27, I would comment that the plan is overloaded with capital expenditures. Devin just mentioned during his update that a lot of our infrastructure development and also some reconstruction on River Street and 3rd Avenue, those projects are dependent on our TID revenue sources or TID revenue bonds. So TID 3, TID 4 that the village has executed. We're using those funds to help fund these capital improvements. So when I stand here reviewing the total CIP amount, it is in some cases double or triple our capital borrow goal. And how we are doing that is we are using TID revenue sources to help fund additional revenue bonds. I wanted to make that comment just initially as I still look at this plan today, not looking to update it, but I'm also asking department heads to be frugal and save costs whenever it's warranted or possible. I'll make a couple comments to the projects shortly here. I would like to just walk through the cost summary, if it's all right. Could you go to the Appendix A, Devin? It's at the end of this. I just wanted to walk through the cost summary with you to highlight it. I believe it'll only take me 5 minutes.
You there yet?
Page 124, I think.
Start with the road and transportation improvements. We have this River Street and 3rd Avenue reconstruction project slated for 26. The cost for that project, it will need to be reviewed as after it gets bid. And that cost is solely funded by TID 3, I believe. Then Ridge Road reconstruction, another project that is going to be funded by those TID revenue bonds. We'll be looking to see how that cost shakes out.
And before you go forward, we did run the TID numbers by Baird to make sure that we can make payments on a borrow for those 2 projects, and the TID still are still self-supporting.
Yep. Yeah, with this plans. Yep, very good. So these construction costs, they do have some contingency in them. On the next one, 2nd Avenue West parking lot. Just a note about this project, there isn't a professional services project for this parking lot, but I anticipate professional services will be included as directed by Todd in the Second Avenue West parking lot improvement. Basically, as he requires bidding or design service, that cost will be able to fit inside that $460-some thousand.
And it shouldn't be very big. It's a parking lot.
Yep, I am asking, here standing, asking Todd to decrease that cost there in 27, if he can. It could be a challenge though, as you know, we have to scope it out, see what's underneath the parking lot, et cetera. Professional services for R004, that was included to try to pursue possible AREP funding for 68th Avenue. So just a note about that. That's our goal here. Just commenting also so Eric knows too. That's a target for 68th Avenue, find some funding source for that. Next, I want to continue here to, that gets us through our 26 and 27 through the roads and transportation, but continue to the utility infrastructure, skip over Todd's equipment subsection. But
Can I ask, is now an appropriate time to ask questions, or you want to finish and then?
Yeah, if you have a question about this section.
I recall discussion, and maybe I'm misunderstanding, but a discussion about Third Avenue, Todd, in like a public works meeting, kind of from over here all the way up to M as being a potential project that I thought we had talked about. Am I screwing that up?
I remember it too, but I couldn't find it.
I remember that being discussed, and I noted that it was not in the plan here. So I just wanted to understand if there was some thought around it, if it had shifted to other priorities. But I think we were going to try and do it last year, and then the bid timing was bad, and we were not pleased with the bids that we received, and so we didn't proceed. But it was on my mind.
No, absolutely. We did look at the numbers for a new pavement, but in the grander scheme, in our illustrative 10-year plan, we would like to see a reconstruction that would include pedestrian access.
Mm-hmm.
So repave and reconstruction are obviously two different, totally.
For sure.
The Third Avenue project, it was talked about. I thought I saw it on.
It was originally planned as a repave, right? Yeah.
So I guess my question is it from a reconstruction, I understand that it was initially discussed as a repave because I think we were already going to have the equipment here or something. It was because we were going to be paving that parking lot and we thought they're already going to be here. Why don't we have them throw a fresh surface down?
We were hoping it would fit within the numbers.
And it didn't. So I guess my question is from a prioritization perspective, for everybody up that way, that's an important conduit into town. There's also no sidewalk on there. And it seems like something that I guess I've been keeping an eye on as a potentially a project that might be worthy of prioritization. And so I don't know that I know enough to be able to say which one of these should be booted in favor of that, because I don't know if we know how much that costs, but I do want to raise that as something that has been discussed that I do think merits some discussion. And it is not mentioned anywhere in the 10-year window, which I kind of believe it should be somewhere in there.
No, there's a road condition report that we maintain, and it's on there.
Yep, and I remember that. And
one
I know
of the worst
is a mess, and so that's why we want
right.
to prioritize that. But
The reconstruction of that section all the way up to County Road M would probably span 2 CIP years. It would take the entirety of the CIP for
I'm
2 straight
sure
years.
it would be very expensive, but
Yeah.
I'm
counting on a grant.
Oh.
I'm bringing it up because
It's going to be a
think
$3 million project.
I think it's an important project, and I think it's one that we've talked about, and one that would critically also provide an additional walking path down to downtown and back up again. Because right now you got to go all the way down to M and over. So I didn't see it here, and I wanted to have a discussion about it.
So the biggest thing right now, priority-wise from what you're seeing, ZINDAS $10 or something there.
Zindas?
LRIP.
We put in for LRIP, yeah.
LRIP success there. The biggest, and then of course, we know the current status of the parking lot. We know it's in horrible shape behind the post office. More importantly, structurally, it's sloping. So those are two critical projects. The most expensive thing about Third Avenue is we could get some blacktop on it as early as potentially next year, just utilizing our CIP payment funds. It's the pedestrian access and the ground surrounding it. That's going to drive, so it's just gonna come down to cost.
So I guess I understand it's gonna be expensive. That's not my confusion. It's more around, was there an affirmative decision taken that it should not be included in the 10-year plan, and
I
if
would
so,
say,
why?
Do you want on the illustrative plan? That would be a direction. that you could
At
direct
minimum,
us.
yes. Yeah, at minimum, it needs to be in the CIP somewhere.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we'll lose
Understood.
sight
It
of it.
can be illustrative, it can be added. That's not a problem. Neil, I want you to know, Todd and I had conversations about the project.
Mhm.
We'd never scoped it out or flushed it out, but all of our road projects or road reconstruction projects are contingent on funding. So we definitely require that MSID funding. And we can really only have one construction project slated for that funding source. We only get that $400,000 chance of more than that every odd year. So we kind of pick away at our road reconstructions by every odd year, utilizing that funding source at minimum. So
Well,
another idea, is using Safe Routes to School funding, but the project didn't make it to the plan. It wasn't flushed out with the scope. So we can work on it and get it into the.
If it's important and it's been talked about and it's in our comprehensive plan, it probably needs to be there.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, so I got another question here. So
Can I just finish one
Sorry.
more point on Third? I think one thing that, in my view, and I'd welcome more education on why it's included, was the 68th Avenue, which, as I understand, it's that road out towards the airport. As I think about, I know that there's development that's been talked about out there, and I would imagine that's maybe where some of the thinking was around that. But to me, that appears somewhat more speculative from a 10-year perspective
so
than the need for potential work in
That
Third.
one is strictly dependent on the agricultural program, because that is a 90-10. So that's why that one is, because we only have one or two ag roads possible in this village. So with that, we have that on there, in case we do get awarded it, that allows us to do that road for virtually nothing. So that's why that one's kind of put up there, because of the programs we can use for funding for that. We can get the project done for 10% of the cost.
Sure. I think it would be good to have that Third Avenue project put in on the 10-year.
No problem, man.
Drew,
Thanks, Mike.
Drew, I got a question. 126 of 217, our equipment subsections, RO 24 shows a snowplow, 100,000 in 2026 and 160,000 in 27.
Yep, that's true.
If I scroll back, bear with me, to, I think, I'll call it a CIP report. 5, bear with me, I'm getting there. 5113, equipment subsection table. RO 24 snowplow replacement goal, none. Where did we go from none to 260,000?
Yeah, I could have failed to update the table, Mike.
So what's the right answer, none or 260?
No, that is the highest priority piece of equipment that Todd has. So
Two of them?
it's one asset. We're
Spread
trying
over
to
2
make
years.
that asset fit.
We're splitting the money in we're splitting over 2 years.
Chassis and then the upfit.
Yep, got it, Mike. All right, I'll continue. I was talking about the utility capital improvements. It's just important to note that these improvements, they're funded by the utilities revenue bonds. They're not included in they're only included in the plan for illustrative funding purposes. Also, some grant sources, like to see them being basically in cooperation or in line with our,
True, it's there for Tanya and me.
yep. It's illustrative, but it does not affect the village general borrow. That was a question that has came up in the past. Then I'll move to the parks and recreation facilities. We have Gateway Park and Development and Construction. Todd spearheading that. The capital cost has not changed per his direction. I'd like to see some cost savings of that amount, but that's just simply a comment. As you know, I don't have a handle on the scope in its entirety. Next comment I wanted to make was just about Smith Park. That's a potential development or redevelopment opportunity that we wanted to try to coincide with the new construction or reconstruction of the park. So one of the goals that was communicated to me was to resurvey Smith Park to potentially have one or two new residential homes built there, and then also get new equipment there. So the reason I'm bringing it up, I just wanted Eric to know that that's the goal there.
Just on parks quick.
Yeah.
There's conversations about, not badminton. What's the other new?
Pickleball.
Thanks.
courts.
Yeah,
Pickleball courts and Eric Park.
we'd be looking at right now, if we're gonna put them, we'd put them over in Oki Park. It would be the ideal.
So are there
location.
costs associated with that somewhere in here? And then
Currently, there's no cost for any pickleball courts for it. We did just recently increase our our impact fees, so there might be some impact fee dollars available for those type of projects. Todd and I have been talking about the amount and what it's gonna cost to build pickleball courts in the community.
was the Eric Park clean upgrade refresh all part of the pickleball process, or was it independent of that?
Independent.
So I thought Eric was on the short-term plan, but I don't see that on here anywhere.
I don't recall Eric being on the short-term plan.
I thought it was within the last 5
Yeah, my
in the
recollection.
comprehensive plan.
In the parks plan.
In the parks plan, every park proposed some development or some improvement.
In the 5, yeah. I don't remember the scale of it though.
I
What
remember
needs
that
to be
would
done
be,
at Eric Park, Mike?
what's that?
What needs to be done at Eric Park?
The asphalt's bad, and I thought Todd was suggesting getting rid of the basketball in lieu of putting pickleball in, because
Okay.
it wasn't worth fixing.
Oh, yeah. All right. This is part of the
But I thought it was in the 5-year window in the CI or the comprehensive plan.
Our core plan, I'll have to double check the core plan again.
Just check it. If it is great. If it ain't, whatever.
Yep. I got it written down here, Mike.
Is that State Highway 35 bicycle and pedestrian trail, is that out to the hospital? Is that what that's meant to be?
This has been a historic project that has been here since Ben was administrator,
That
but
is,
yes.
that is the project that they're talking.
To connect out?
Yeah.
Okay. Can I ask why? We don't have anybody that really lives out there.
I believe it would be
So-
applicable to safe routes to school. Otherwise, I
lives
don't
out
know.
I guess I'm just thinking now, I'm like, I don't know what,
Population.
I don't know what the public value of putting, if there are houses that go up, then sure,
Yeah,
like, then we can think about it, but I don't know
think
why.
that is a project that's very dependent on growth. Currently, as you see, we're adding this bike path, walking path up to Quick Trip because of growth. I think it should be basically growth dependent. So if it stays out in the illustrative, that's fine, just that we're aware of it. Because as you said, without bodies, there's no point to having it, because I don't want a trail to nowhere that we have to maintain and upkeep to it too.
I have a couple
I
things
do
on
know though,
parks.
with the commercial building going in, we're not requiring them to put in the path right away because we deem it, why would we put a path that's going to serve no one? But at least give us the easement for it for in the future, that if the growth does, we do have the ability to connect to those paths too. So it's more or less making sure that if Todd and I get hit by a bus tomorrow, that people know we're still thinking of it.
And just from a planning perspective, if you have a really long list of illustrative projects, that's not a determinant, it's not deterring you from putting more lists on the 6 to 10 plan, right? It's not like you're operating with some amount of money or any constraint in what you put on the 6 to 10 plan window. I'm asking because if we've got
Right, all of
$1.3
our-
million
all of
for-
our wish lists
or whatever.
should be on the illustrative plan, but I don't necessarily work or prompt the department heads on the illustrative plan. They have to come to me and,
Okay.
you know,
Okay.
instruct me, as my goal is to get us through the 5-year plan. So, all right, I'll continue with the public buildings.
I've got some more questions on parks.
Please, Brad.
So for 25, have we used the $5,000 in park signage and wayfinding?
That would be
You're working on that currently.
Are we rolling it into 26 then, or what? Okay. And is that to be used exclusively for the renovation of Cascade Fall Stairs and Grist Mill? Is that what we're thinking?
No, as they're presented, we'll continue to work on, going to the proper channels to get an approved logo or signage for our parks and park rec spaces.
That project that we had in December, or was it November?
The topic that came up.
Yeah.
Which ballooned into branding. Yeah, okay. PR 1010, the Oki Park Ball Field and Park renovation. Am I correct in seeing that, is that number 1 that's sitting next to it? What does that represent? Is that priority?
So it's a future project.
Uh-huh.
So it identifies that it could be moved to the 5-year plan. So it's,
But it's listed as priority 1.
In the illustrative. So if we have it basically is telling us that if we have something to illustrate rank tie, if the funds come available, we should move it into the 5-year plan.
Yeah, that should be moved to like 4.
4.
And I think that I would recommend PR 008, the Cascade Falls Boardwalk Phase 2.
Yep.
It's way too low. That's a $2 million project minimum, and even with grant money.
But we get 50% funding. That's what we're saying.
Yeah, even with grant money, I think it's going to be a $4 million project, and we would spend 2. Like, it's that much. There's a land sale involved there.
Oh, that doesn't include. Phase 2 is.
I'm sorry, it's down on PR 007 at 854. 854 is way too low. But it's neither here nor there. I mean, that will be flushed out. And then as Neil had reminded, we don't have anything on here for the, what was the other parks issue?
Are you talking about Eric Park?
Yeah,
Right.
well, no, not Eric.
Oh, Third Avenue is Neil's
Third
concern.
Avenue, yeah.
Street was Neil's.
Oh, that was streets. Never mind.
Yeah.
I'll take whatever credit you want to give me. I'm always open.
I have Phase 3 cost estimate attached to this document. I could look further into it. But one of my goals is to not scope out projects that are without reach.
Yeah.
Of our plan. So
Can things be moved from one section of the CIP to another category section?
It can, but I mean, it's just, numbers are numbers. It's just.
Well, I just meant like omitting something completely and then bringing it into another section
Like what?
elsewhere. Well, that would speak to his Third Avenue. I mean,
Oh, you're saying like if we were to say that Cascade Falls 3 is wildly underbid, so why do we even have it in that
Yeah.
category? And then we assign those dollars
Yeah.
up to transportation.
but if it doesn't matter how many dollars are in
In
illustrative,
terms of
then
illustrative, any project can live where it's
Fine.
currently at,
Fine.
because you're just showing us an illustrative.
that's fine. Then. Yep.
Why is there an illustrative for PR 001, the Cascade Falls Phase 1? And then there's also an illustrative
yep, good catch, Nicole. That's just
for
an error
Smith
there.
Park as well.
Thank you.
That's PR 012.
And I know we have a couple of years yet before this comes at us, but I still think it might be a 2030 issue, Boardwalk Phase 2. If we could jump Third Avenue in front of it.
That's what I was actually just
There's,
about
I
to
mean,
say,
the
that
community engagement regarding road infrastructure is so much hotter right now than park infrastructure.
my thought was to see what others would think about. I agree, Brad, about
Yeah.
taking phase 2 and reallocating that up into transportation
Right.
in an effort to make progress on Third Avenue.
Yeah, even
Just-
if it's something that could be even done as a phased approach where you can do the road reconstruction first.
Yeah.
But leave yourself in a spot where, and the 6 to 10 illustrative, you've got the infrastructure that you need to put the pedestrian access in later.
Yeah.
Like you do it, you reconstruct for the road first, but you leave a shoulder such that you can do the pedestrian access later.
Yeah.
And, so you don't have to do the whole $2 million project at once. You can do, the first million.
Yeah, and I guess the other reason I think that is that we are doing a major investment at the falls right now. And I think we have to be judicious in how we spread our dollars around. And I think the priority on getting new stairs in place, given the role that they play in the downtown and in the community, is different than the boardwalk.
Well, it becomes more important too with the Impact 7 development coming in, so.
Yeah. Yeah, it does become more.
I will
important
say
now.
too, anything beyond 2 years, is subject to change.
Right.
Really what we're doing is proving the 2-year thing, and then in 2 years, we're reevaluating everything again, and then potentially moving things around based on the demon.
I still think the feedback's important though.
Yeah, and I
That's
guess,
very
I mean, I would even go so far as to suggest seriously looking at moving Cascade Falls Boardwalk out and putting Third Avenue in a 5-year window using those boardwalk
Let
funds
me
to the
ask-
extent that they're not DNR grant funds. I don't know what kind of grant funding you're thinking about.
Well, let me ask you this question, Neil. So we could apply for stewardship funding again. So that's why that project is slated in the 5-year plan at all.
And then we move
What
it in
would
if
be
we
the-
get awarded.
Yeah, what would be the next park improvement to apply for stewardship funding? Would it
I guess
be-
I don't know that I'm hung up on needing to apply for, like, stewardship funding is not in my mind the end all be all justification for pursuing the park project. Like we got stewardship funding. It made the staircase very achievable. We also spent plenty of CIP dollars that could have been put towards other things. So, and there's always going to be grant opportunities to help with all kinds of bats. I mean, God knows what that we could spend money on. And so I think that stewardship, from my perspective, is generally going to be an option for us. And if the soonest we can apply for it is 2029, fine. It doesn't mean that we should prioritize the boardwalk over a needed street project simply because we are eligible to apply for stewardship again.
Does it need to be in the CIP plan, or do we get points for having it in the CIP plan for the stewardship?
We just have to have it in the outdoor recreation plan.
Okay, so we're good there.
So, no, I'll take your comments, Neil. I'll have conversations with Todd about it. We'll scope out this Third Avenue and we'll see how it fits.
I think that was a fancy way of saying what I'm about to say, which is I think I'm done doing park projects for a while.
Yeah, I agree.
Like, I don't know that I want to spend money having you go after grants for parks,
Understood.
even though they're out there.
It can also be removed. Not a problem. That was my comments for the parks and recreation. Anything else, Brad?
Nope, that's it for that.
Then I'll continue to public buildings. I just wanted to comment on the Public Works facility. It's slated as illustrative. Just comment to Eric, just keep it on your radar as it's one of Todd's priorities to find a funding source for his Public Works facility or the redevelopment of the fire hall to build the building.
So we're collecting impact fees for it too.
So keep that on your radar, please, Eric. I'm going to skip over the administrative and IT infrastructure. I'm going to skip over the community and economic development section. I mean, we have update CIP in there. In emergency services, the only thing I wanted to comment on is the fire department vehicle replacement fund. So this fund, the goal is to save budget $200,000 annually It has increased by 5% annually due to inflation with this plan. As I take that into account, this dollar amount will aim to basically be in a savings fund for the fire department to proceed with, the capital replacement of their vehicles. The fire department has provided a priority table in my report of their goals, of their costs. Mike already commented on the costs. How the fire trucks are very expensive. Yeah, the diesel trucks are very expensive. I believe some of the upfitting costs or, the bells and whistles that they're putting on the trucks, they also charge a lot for that too. So they're expensive assets. Devin is also working on creative funding sources for this fund too, so.
Yeah, I mean, going forward, I have reserves about whether or not we should create a truck fund. I do know it's desperately needed. We replace all the trucks. The problem is going forward for 2029, we borrowed $200,000. We're paying interest on it and then it's depreciating as we collected it too.
Because we don't spend it.
So I want to find a better way. I think if we had the revenue coming in, if you have revenue coming in and set aside for capital, that's a totally fine way to do it. If you're borrowing to create the funds, that's where I kind of have a problem with it. Because like I said, you're paying interest on money that's sitting in your bank that's not garnering the same interest. So you're actually losing purchasing power with your dollar. So we can keep that in the illustrative. That's fine. I'm hoping to find a more stable solution because even if we borrow to make payments towards the truck, I'd be more comfortable with that than to borrow to let us in the bank.
I think I remember whatever meeting we had, we were talking about fire trucks and, we kind of ended up in a place where we can't afford them outright and doing this is less than ideal, but there was no third way. So I think I don't like it either. I welcome other ideas about
other
how to do it.
Payments would be one.
The payments could be one, and if we can do that, great. But I don't think it's sustainable for us to just kind of not do it every year.
Or you try to find, there's referendum options. There's options where you can find the municipality that we're paying for that buy the truck and we give them payments for it to use their borrowing capacity. There's options in order to do something that we're talking about, other than just having money sit into an account that's garnering interest.
So a few years ago, I was involved in a conversation where there was a municipality looking at buying a piece of equipment. And the lending rates for a municipality are super low. And then they would in turn take that a piece of equipment after it was a couple of years and put it out on the public market and sell it.
Some do that. A lot of time that's for tractors and for trucks.
It was equipment, yes.
Yeah. Fire trucks usually a little different because their resale value is to other municipalities, not to the public.
Sure.
I
Can't ship it to some third world country.
I do have experience with that with plows and tractors because those are very common.
You go to the commercial market and
We've done 2-year leases where we pay 2-year lease fees and then we turn around and we get a brand new one every 2 years. So I've done stuff like that for equipment, not so much for fire trucks.
The 10,000 foot comment, there's clearly a problem between both fire and police on getting equipment replaced and the inflation costs of it. But I feel like it's almost like we're kicking the can ahead and we have to hurry up and find a solution.
Police one has been relatively stable. Fire trucks have increased by 50% over the course of 4 years. The fire trucks have been unsustainably inflated every year. La Crosse and Oshkosh, I believe, are suing. Rosenbauer, another one.
Monopoly.
That just went to court, started a case in December. There's no ruling on that yet, but they're trying to figure out why a fire truck increased by 50% over the course of 4 years. So it is an issue that the government is aware of. Does that mean they're going to help us? Probably not. So we do have to find a solution on how we're going to pay for these trucks.
Well, and maybe I don't want to pick on Paul, but we probably got to get our arms around this sooner than later. And if Paul thinks that 325 ain't the right number, maybe we got to figure out what the right number is so that we can get it into our budget. And I'm speaking to one piece of equipment, but
yeah. And Paul's plan for his grass rig, I actually like. I'm on board with his plan for the grass rig.
Behind it 100%, but instead of I feel like this.
Mike, what we had to do is we had to get at least prices for CIP.
Yeah,
So we went out and got a bid from one that's turnkey. And then we have also looked at possibly getting a government bid on a chassis and building it in pieces, like I did the ladder truck.
mhm.
And so that should, not knowing for sure, but it should come in right around 250 to 275. But I've known with the board, I don't want to come and say, well, I can build a truck for 275 on the CIP, and then it come in at 300,000, because I'm not going to get it. And it's really important that we start replacing these vehicles, as soon as we can. I dropped from getting tankers to replacing a grass rig because of the cost, just to try and get it into the CIP, so that at least I get something starting to get replaced.
So and I agree, and maybe that's where I'm going with this is if we keep kicking the can forward and we have these two numbers that are like, we can find 100,000, but you need 400, being exaggerative here.
Right.
That doesn't help any. And maybe we gotta start, like, I think of your grass rig. Do we need to buy a brand new one? Or can you go out to the forestry service and find something not from?
Forestry service, I just had the guy down here, I had begged to try and get like a Humvee from the military.
Sure.
And build that, like we did with our last two grass rigs. We built them, we saved the village mega money by building them ourselves, but they're not available. They do not make vehicles accessible to municipalities, they sell them to the public rather. That's what makes me the most upset. It's like, why aren't we being able to get it? Can't get them.
Sure.
So that option is just about out. Building something, we're looking at building a truck that is a fast response, because our situation is changing grass wise. Before, I used to be able to go to grass fire. It's out in the fields, no big deal, we surround it, we get it done. Now grass fires are in Gateway Estates, they're in Meadowlark Lane, they're, and they're in amongst houses, complexes, whatever. So we have to get there and at least try to get it knocked down before it gets out of control. Normal grass fires, you can bring in mutual aid, you don't need as much, but we need more fast response vehicles. I'm not gonna try and take a 1963 truck that goes fast, but it don't stop fast. And no seat belts, no anything in it, and try to do that. That's why we need to upgrade our equipment. And so we're building things more fast response now because of the housings that is being built. Grass fires are right in town now. We have grass fires in town, but we never had that before. But it's more crucial to get there fast and have enough water to be able to control.
I'm all on board with any kind of Band-Aid you want to have, because I think we've already went after 2 grants and not gotten them. So I don't know that even whether it's 325 or 275, I'm getting pessimistic we're gonna have a solution. So out of all the things you need replaced in the next 5, maybe we gotta find a Band-Aid for something till we find a better solution. Anyway.
Yeah, I'll take it from Paul is that, he needs new assets. His goal is to have his assets last 30 years and then replace them. He's behind on his goal, and, Devin and the fire department leaders are going to be working on this. I mean, we don't have the end solution, perfect solution, but this is a good start. That way we can do something. Next, I want to just thank Chief Bach. He did a lot of work on the police section. He also worked with me to decrease a lot of his projects. So just thank you for all of his time. It was great. So.
Yeah, about that, the admin finance recommended that he go forward with the pickup truck on the CIP instead of the other Explorer. It was only $2 grand difference. Is AJ still there?
Yeah, roughly.
$2,000 difference, and they deemed that the utility of the truck was worth the $2,000.
$1,936.
So that's the end of my walkthrough here. My important comments, I wanted to make sure the board was aware of them. Sounds like there'll be no action tonight. That's fine. This can come to the meeting next month if the board wishes. So
Unless you want to, yeah, there's a resolution here if you want to adopt it as written or with the changes that you talked about.
I think I'd like to see the changes, unless there's any pressing need that you need it to be approved now, but
As long as we do it in February, it should be good.
Agreed.
Are all the grants listed current?
let's have comment from Chief Buck.
I just, the last meeting, we committed to purchasing radio equipment because of the promotional pricing that they offered. We have taken receipt of that equipment and that invoice is due. So I'm still apprehensive about not having funds to pay for equipment that we
No funds for it, we'll reimburse ourselves.
I was gonna say, can't the general fund pay for it and
We'll
then reimburse
We'll
itself?
reimburse ourselves through it.
Another comment would be the 26 and 27 plan is still not changing.
Yeah, so
So, I mean, I could work on this for you as much as you need, Neil.
So there's currently no changes to the actual borrow itself. The 26 and 27, there was no change to it today. So the resolution could actually just be for the 26 and 27 capital improvement plan to be approved.
Just the borrow amount?
Yep.
I'm fine with that.
'Cause
If you want to see a different design in the document, that's okay, but as far as the total borrow,
we're approving the plan for 26 and 27.
Yes, there was no changes.
We've
to
already
it.
borrowed that money, haven't we?
No, we haven't yet.
we just went through 25, 24, and 25. The next borrow is
Next
now.
year for that.
But I think all we discussed was just illustrative
Yeah, 5.
type improvements.
Might be fine. That's accurate. If you could make those changes and just include it on the consent agenda, I think I'm curious to see what you do with parks and I'm curious to see what you do with third. And I just want to see the loop get closed on that, on those conversations is all I want.
Agreed.
No problem, Neil. And, this cost summary here, I can update as much as you want, within reason.
So are we making a motion to approve the resolution?
Carrie, do you have that paperwork in front of you?
The resolution?
It's 2601.
What page of the,
It was 76.
thank you. I just want to review the words.
It's why I keep a paper, it's why I keep a paper copy.
Yeah, like,
No, the resolution says that a copy of the plan is going to be attached to it. I would rather wait.
Okay.
We don't do half-done stuff here anymore.
Hearing no action.
Okay, next item is the pay application for Pember.
Yeah, so here I am again, and I am presenting pay app number 3, as y'all have already seen pay app number 3 come across your desk last month. The total amount that Pember is requesting to get paid for has not changed. It's $307,360.07. It's the same amount. The contractor has updated the stored materials column from my review. They have filled it out correctly. I've received comments at the last meeting about the insurance. I made sure the materials were stored at a building that is in a secure location. Yeah, it's at a commercial business fabricating shop. I reviewed Pember's bid bond, which is for $20 million, and reviewed their certificate of liability insurance, which covers our piece of equipment. For up to $2 million can be extended to 4 million based on, someone's review, a lawyer, attorney. So there's sufficient insurance on our supplies.
Line 19, so just to talk about the materials presently stored.
Yep.
For 219,800.
That is how much Superior Iron invoiced Pember companies.
For the material stored off-site, right?
Yep, that's true.
Okay, so that's stairway complete, but the pictures I see look like they're the handrails from line 16 and 17.
Yeah, they're simply saying stored materials. They did not specify all these
Drew, the
furnishings.
stuff in the pictures looks like line 16 and 17. It doesn't look like line 18. I'm gonna approve it, but I still don't like it.
Line 16 and 17 are different handrails that will go down the concrete path.
That's not like what's on page 154 or 150.
No, stairway complete is a lump sum bid item. It includes the stairs in their entirety, the foundation, the trusses, supports, railing, grading.
I see a lot of railing. I see a lot of stairs stored up. I'm gonna approve it, Drew, but I don't like it. I think it's wrong. So.
I hear you, Mike.
In the future, I hope we have better schedule of values.
What are they still waiting on, do you know?
The contractor, Brad?
Superior Iron, what are they still waiting
They're
on?
working on it. They're fabricating it. They claim that, I hope I can recall. It was either the end of this month or the end of next month. Materials are going to be starting to be delivered to the site. So next week on Wednesday, we have our monthly construction meeting. Pember has been updating us on the schedule at every meeting, so we could see if that holds true.
Yeah, it's like 16, 17, and 18 are the stairs, the fence, and the handrail. I don't see anything else in there that.
The handrail and the fence are separate bid items, separate pieces of the park. They're not related to the stairway system.
I get it, but what I'm looking at in these pictures looks like handrails and steps and stuff, and it doesn't.
I think they're handrails for the stairs.
For the stairs, yeah.
Okay, so they're handrails for the stairs, okay?
Yeah.
Okay, but they're not billing me for anything stored. Which means that these pictures down below that show handrails aren't the handrails?
Could you rephrase your question, Mike?
The only materials that they're saying that are presently stored off-site are stairways complete. Yet they've given us pictures representing material stored off-site that show handrails.
For the
Yeah,
stairs.
for the stairs. The pictures shown are not for the fence or the handrails. They'll be installed along the concrete walking path or the exterior of our Grits Mill Park. Those materials are still being fabricated. They're custom fabricated railings and fences that will be on the exterior of our park, exterior of our walking path. So those are separate bid items. The only thing, the fabrication that you've seen is for the stairway.
Because I see stairway complete, and then over under materials presently stored, I see 219,000.
There's a landing partway down, right?
That's true.
What's the dimensions of the landing? Do you know off the top of your head?
Well, our stairway system, it's a 6-foot wide stairway system, and then it bumps out another, I believe, 8 feet at our landing. That's how I recall it. I don't have the plan in front of me tonight, Mike, but.
So the landing is 8 feet at that, there's like a
At a
couple,
bump out, I'll call it there. That's how I recall it.
page
That's a
154.
protruded grading system.
Yeah, the section of railing on 154 looks like it's more than 8 feet, which leads me to believe that it's not necessarily part of the stair, even though there's 2 feet that starts to go down.
I see. Yeah, I don't have any more comment, Mike. An update about the schedule, though. I don't mean to cut you off. You can continue, Mike, but I wanted to include this, is that contractors stating that the partial amounts of railings and support beams will be delivered to the site at the end of this month or early February. That's what they sent me with this pay app, as I requested them to give me an update, but I just failed to write it down for you.
The balance payable after this is just a shade over half the project. Is that what I see? 700?
So lines 28, the light fixture.
Yep.
Okay. They showed us a picture of the light fixture, but they didn't bill me for material stored off site.
Additional lighting, that's the light at the bottom of the stairs.
So what the light fixture that's shown
And
in
they
that
are asking
picture,
for stored materials. They're asking for $5,726, and that feels right to me for a light pole.
yep, I'd agree. Sorry, my thing just died.
Yeah.
So it's further down the spreadsheet.
Yeah. And yeah, I reviewed every item, Mike. I made sure the numbers are right.
You wanna go
I
back
knew
to
you
the-
would be looking, Mike, so I.
Okay.
The point being is that, again, they did a poor job the first version and they
Mhm.
backed into some
Yep.
numbers. I don't know that I'm
And-
overly excited about it. I'm
And they
still-
heard it, Mike. They heard us, so. There
Make a
was-
motion. We need a motion to approve the
Yes.
payment.
The payment application, or it's actually
Pay
a
request.
pay request.
I'll make a
yeah.
motion that we approve the request.
I'll second.
Okay, the motion by Mike and a second by Arvid to approve pay application 3. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, say no. Motion passes.
All right, thank you very much.
Okay, 6C, Utility Department Financial Analysis.
There you go.
Sorry, I don't.
So I just wanted to give you a little synopsis on the memo from Trilogy there. We asked them to prepare a cash analysis for the water and sewer utilities based on the capital plan that we just heard about.
I've got the laptop here, Mike, so you can use that.
As you heard, I mean, we have a ton of aging infrastructure. So I just wanted to go over this memo real quick, or my
I
memo.
forgot to mention one thing in your report.
Oh, go
Rolf's final day.
ahead. Oh, yeah, go ahead.
Uh,
Bring that up if you want.
Rolf will be retiring, the first, is it the 2nd?
It's the 2nd of April.
The
yeah.
2nd of April.
After
So
42 years.
we would be looking to, we'll be starting a search for his replacement here in the next month.
Okay.
So we will give you more information as we go on, but I wanted to acknowledge that and say that Rolf is finally going to retire.
When again?
April 2nd. So you'll see.
Come into a meeting, we give them a pat on the back.
Yep.
You'll see a little bit more on it in the, at the February meeting. So,
42 years, that's a long time.
42 years. That's a long
A
time.
lot of knowledge going
A
by.
lot of knowledge, yeah. Soak in all that knowledge while he's here. So, yeah.
You should be in panic right now, Rick.
Don't say it out loud. Just to glaze over my memo here, Trilogy is suggesting to file a conventional rate case in 2026. That the rule of thumb is every 5 years. The last rate case was in 2019. We're expiring that at the end of this year, fourth quarter of 2019. So let's call it 2020 or 2020. They estimated the impact of approximately 25%, although PSC has total authority over water rates, so that impact could be higher, could be lower. Cash flow analysis is focused on the capital plan. However, the future projects are not included in the rate. The PSC does not allow us to charge for future projects in your current rate. The water you get today is with the infrastructure that you're using today. When rate setting, the PSC takes into account costs and improvements from the previous rate case in 2019 to the test year of 2026. So that's estimated, like I said, around 25%. The additional revenue would then be used to fund the capital projects over the next years. The overall debt for water and sewer, we asked them, what's the driver on this? And it's your improvements. You get improvements to your system, and PSC is looking at the overall rate of return based on the value of your system. And that's where they're setting it. And I just wanted to note on that rate case process. It's about 9 months, a 9-month process. You wouldn't see any changes immediately. It'd be a lot of work on village end. We would be contracting with Trilogy to help us through that process in the next couple of months here. Sewer outlook is really stable. We took care of that. If you remember in 2022, cash flow, cash on hand was the major driver of actually both of these things. So in 2022, we did a rate study and we adopted that rate in 2023. Sewer utility looks really stable, with the exception of there is a project hanging out there that we are a part of with West Central Biosolids. You've probably heard me talk about it extensively. Timeline has not been established yet. I have a meeting on Thursday with them. So if that changes and then changes our cash flow analysis, we'll update and do what we need to do.
Are they still planning on putting a new facility in place in the next 5 to 10?
A dryer, probably around 5 years.
Okay.
So.
As the finance is still the big hangup.
The financing is the big hangup because, as you guys know, the clean water fund loans are the incentivized loans for sewer utilities to get to the subsidized loans. So similar to when the thing was built, the biosolids facility was built, they would get all the communities together. We would pull the debt and then they would pay us back for the debt through our user rates through them. So just wanted to touch on that a little bit. If there's any changes to that, we'll have Trilogy. I mean, obviously we work very closely with them, so we'll have them update this and react to it as needed. With that, I would take any questions. This is not an action item. I just, like Neil, we talked last time, where's the cash? What's happening here? And I just wanted to bring this forward that this is the outlay. This is kind of what's going on. So. And this is going to be your impact for them.
You feel pretty good about the SCADA system upgrade and that cost?
Yeah, actually, if I can touch on that real quick, we split the radios out from that, and so that's why you're seeing 2 of them in there. So that first cost is the radio cost, and that buys us a couple of things. It buys us time and it buys us options. So right now, if we lose a PLC, the new PLCs will not talk to the current radios. I'm sure you guys heard me beat this to death. So you're in it for all radios to begin with. The second thing we want to do is add functionality. We had some problems over Christmas where somebody had to come here every single time. We have no visibility into that system. So we wanted to buy a little bit of time to research and see what we wanted for functionality as far as logging into that system or additional dialers or any pressure sensors in the zones, things like that. So we're going to do a little bit of research, do a little bit of traveling around, see what other larger communities have, scale that back, see what fits for us. So that's what the split is all about.
Cool.
And then just to reiterate, if we lose a PLC after we do that, we have options at that point. So we could replace that one off if we needed to and use those new radios. We wouldn't be backed into the corner, as I say.
Devin, how are we as far as firm with the 2029 River Street Phase 2? Is that pretty much set, or can that move forward or backward if needed?
You move forward or backward. We'd like to see it go forward, obviously, due to the age of the infrastructure in the road. It's going to come down to, the growth and the available debt we have.
Can you guys finance that for 28 if you needed to?
If we needed to back it.
Into 28 as opposed to 29?
I'm sure we could.
It's a $700,000 project.
Yeah, bring it into the 28.
The water main. Yeah, I'm just, looking at the what if scenario.
Realistically, we wish we could have done this whole project.
I know.
On the back of this whole thing, but unfortunately we can't.
River Street is a major thing for both us and the village. I mean, when we're looking at village stormwater projects, the outfalls are on river.
Yep.
That stormwater needs to go river. And so to move any of your street, I'm batting a little bit beyond my coverage here, but so because Todd's out of the way here, but that stormwater needs to move towards the river. So the outfalls need to be redone and upgraded on River Street to get the stormwater from 7th Avenue.
There's a couple of them that are broken, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it's a thing.
And the good news is we're still within the half-mile radius of the TID 3. So if we have exponential growth happen within the TID, we are able to allocate some of those funds to that project too.
Okay.
So that could help move it up in a few years. If, say that building comes in at 30 million, all of a sudden we get a huge amount of.
Yeah, it is a minimum assessed value,
so say that comes in at a much higher rate, we're receiving a much greater chunk of the pie at that point. We might be able to do more projects.
Everybody understand that? Like with the TID, the TIF financing, we have a guaranteed minimum assessed value of that building, and what they agreed to 22, right? Is that what it was? If it comes in at 30, now we're playing with more money in the pie.
I do want to say though, that the safe drinking water loans and the clean water fund loans, we would want to use those for the water and sewer reconstruct on that project itself. We would have to back that up. We want to start working on that process now because Eric, you're a year out from, you have to file 2 years ahead of time for that, or how does that work?
Yeah.
Can you refresh us?
is if you do it 2 years ahead of time, so the ITAs in fall of 25, for example.
So that's
would be for
28 right now.
27.
Yeah.
So we were working on it now.
Yeah, it's cleanest if you do it.
But as you saw, I mean, that really worked out in our favor for that Bluff Waterman. We got 45% principal forgiveness on that. I don't know why that project wouldn't qualify.
So, just real quick notes about that program too. They're starting, because everybody is having to utilize it, and they're starting to.
Because
run
all
more
the
and more
utilities are now
funds.
over 100 years old. Yes.
Right.
Everybody's jumping on for principal forgiveness
Yeah.
and subsidized rates, you know?
Yeah.
When bank rates themselves were 2%, nobody cared. But now that they're.
Yeah, 6, yeah.
Yeah, and, so for a water project, they only pay for 20% currently, that's the number of the street above it for replacement. They used to pay for everything above it, figure half goes on sewer, half goes on water, you're disrupting it all. So they're focusing on the infrastructure more, putting less money towards the street, so it,
But we gotta find multiple funding sources.
right,
for
so
it.
there's gonna be multiple funding sources for projects and.
Right, so if the village identifies that as a priority, we would like to start working on that immediately to utilize those loans for sure.
Have the residents been notified on River about disruption?
On Third and River, not yet,
Mhm.
no, not yet, not with the getting them the truck water and things
Mhm.
that'll be coming. I mean, probably
We don't
February.
want to lose sight of that because
No.
you never know. If we get a really warm February, March, they may start
Exactly.
digging into the ground a lot sooner than we thought.
Yes,
so.
and we don't want to give notice too soon too, because people tend to forget things. And then,
Nah, I don't think they're gonna forget about this.
I hope not, but that's kind of.
They're already telling us that the water quality isn't great, so.
But yes, I will be, we will be mailing a letter to all.
And that's because those are iron, right? Those pipes are iron.
Cast
pipe.
iron, yeah, unlined cast iron from
So it's
1970.
rust, it's water, it's
Yeah,
red,
it's not
red
it's-
water.
It just rusts. I mean,
Yeah.
you have a steel pipe or an iron pipe and it'll just sit there and rust.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions? We'll probably see some more on this in February as we move forward to file that rate case. We would need a resolution, so I'd be bringing that forward at some point, probably February or March. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. 6D, first read of ordinance 2601, chapter 201, article 6, stormwater utility.
Last month, you heard the presentation of how we're creating the stormwater utility provided by SEH. This is the resolution, the result of that. I'm drawing a blank here, sorry about that. Of that presentation by SEH. With that, it lays out how we are billing customers, where they're going to our the district runoff the district's created, the minimum of billing for residential, the runoff index, all the information of how we're creating and how we're billing is laid out within the ordinance itself. This ordinance would go into the utility section, which was chapter 1, was it 201?
Yep.
So that it would go right into that area. We've already talked to our attorney on that. It fits in perfectly for that ordinance. Tonight is the first reading of it. Next month would be the second reading of it with a public hearing to codify the ordinance as written. One thing I do want to say is that there is currently no option for credit. Thank you. In the thing, but the village board may opt to in the future adjust credits as they deem fit. That was addressed in section 201-28 for credits. With that, I did create a model budget of what $100,000 gets us. I'll keep it myself, just to show you that it's really does not take much to spend $100,000 on infrastructure such as stormwater. One thing that you have been hearing tonight is that any of our infrastructure and why this is needed. One thing that you can do is when we create a utility of it is the revenue created by the utility can help pay for some of our debts, such as River Street that we do. They can pitch in their portion of the project itself. So that would be under debt service. That's just kind of an estimate of where we'll be. Currently, capital outlay is high because we have a lot of parts that do need to be replaced. We have a lot of basins that need to be replaced. We would actually go well beyond this in the first year on basins alone if we replace them all in the first year, as we have about $50,000 in basins to do.
And these are all just things that are shifting from the budget now into this
Currently, we
utility.
only budget, our budget for stormwater currently for maintenance is only $6,000.
Yeah.
So this is why I needed to create utility. As you can see, I have $94,000 in expenditures above what we're budgeting currently. We're not adequately funding the stormwater utility itself. If you're not adequately funding it, we don't even know what we have, the condition it's in, where it goes. We have outfalls that are causing huge problems on private land. All these needs to be addressed, and we currently do not have the funds to address the issues that we're running into with our stormwater utility. So this is why this ordinance is going forward before you, and why we're creating a stormwater utility. With that, I'll answer any questions that you have. Eric's here tonight too. He has a little knowledge on it, as he's been involving in some of the conversations between Emily and me.
On page 201 of the board packet, there's some highlighting going on there. Are those things that we need to be deciding or clarifying? I noticed in 201-27-2, it talks about effective dates, but it just says month, day.
Yeah, they haven't been finalized yet. That's why.
Okay.
What was the impact on your average house?
Was it 375?
Or something,
Yeah.
right? And that got us to, did that get us to?
$3.75.
No, $2.75.
No, it was $2.75.
It was
we
$2.75.
agreed on.
$3.75.
Yes.
For the average home, and that got us like,
$3, it's my.
Yeah.
and that got us to like $96,000.
Okay. For some reason, I thought that got us to like 30,000 or something. So when you had 100, I was confused.
No, it got us like 96,750 or something like that. But those are all round numbers because we don't know the exact until we roll it out to all the
For
properties.
$3 a month, we can feed a sewer pipe.
Yeah. Can you say again, I wasn't listening because I was trying to read and listen at the same time and I failed. The debt service on this, can you reiterate?
So when we do street projects, some of them have storm to that. So now that, because we have this revenue coming in, it can help offset some of those costs for those
Those
projects.
loans, like
Okay.
you
'Cause
take a
we're gonna
loan to do a
borrow
street,
against the
some of
utility or
those,
whatever.
some of those loan dollars can be applied to this.
In our CIP, when it says, different funding sources, now stormwater utility would show as one of the funding
Exists
sources
as one of-
contributing
Okay.
into the capital plan.
Thank you. I was trying to listen and read and it wasn't going.
And I'm very stuffy, so it might not be projecting very well.
I think we mentioned during the building of this, that maybe we didn't, and I just thought about it and didn't say anything, but was there a suggested schedule of replacements or suggested first projects after this gets rolling?
Currently, like I said, we have all the basins. We have 7
Right.
basins that need to be replaced. We have a major problem on a private person's property currently of where the water is going.
Yeah.
So those are the first projects that we need to address.
That's on Cascade, isn't it?
Yeah, it's on Cascade. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
The
then we
900 block, 1000 block right there? Yeah.
And then we also have Third and River Street project too, that could also, fund could also help pay for too, as we have outfalls that need to be replaced.
And I know that Todd's not here, so I mean, he could probably speak to those basins.
I think the gist of the last discussion was, is this gets us a first try for a year and then we see what happens. after.
Yeah.
And as I said, I could knock out 100K in no problem real quick. So,
Okay.
$3 isn't gonna kill anybody.
No. And once again, we do live on a river city. It is important that we manage our stormwater where it goes.
Better this than waiting till we have to buy a $380,000 fire truck in a year. Okay, this is just a reading, right? No action.
First
No
reading.
action unless you have changes or things you'd like to see the next reading for the final reading.
If we have a public hearing, it would be good to see some sample numbers. Just
Oh, for
the impact per person, your average house.
Yeah, so the average home is going to be that 275.
If you have a public hearing, somebody's gonna ask that question.
Yeah,
If you
it's
have a model.
it's regardless of the formula is in here already, and then regardless of the size of the residential lot is going to.
What I'd
It
like
would
to
just
see
be-
is
Do
a
you have a
menu of,
maximum?
There was a
Costs.
maximum done by an average. Once again, I haven't taken stats in a long time, so I can't describe that average you came up.
That
Okay.
lady did a great job of explaining it, super technical, super way over my head, but made perfect sense.
Yep.
then. You had a crib notes?
Yeah.
For the average person?
Yeah.
That'd be great.
I think I went over the two averages
Yeah,
and I
she
said, that
does.
one's confusing, pick this one.
Yeah.
Just for the average person to understand what they're gonna, how it's gonna hit them.
Yeah, for a public hearing, I would have ready, or have Todd have ready a menu of
I
how
can,
much
I can
things
see if I
cost
get Emily here to
to
do a quick
replace.
water.
That's the
downgrade.
biggest thing, like,
Use my place as an example.
if he could stand up and say, you know what, this basin that we're about to do, or these 7, here's how much they are each on average. Like that kind of stuff, because if there's a question, you know.
Capitalize on
You know,
the
and one
education
thing
opportunity.
it does in the future too is, I have not seen too many places that do not have curb and gutter going down hills. We have many of those places in this town that creates water, standing water on people's property. And the only way to potentially do those in the future is to have something like this to allow us to do curb and gutter on streets that we would not be allowed to otherwise.
Yeah.
I'm missing it, but I don't see like a maximum.
It had something to do
Is
with
there-
the top quarter of all payments
Yeah,
would set the maximum.
Yeah, what, I just,
Is that enshrined in the code?
It is.
oh, there it is, it's 7.
Right there.
Yep, I see it now.
That was the form I was telling you about for the
Yep.
average that I haven't
Okay.
taken stats a long time, so do not have me describe
No.
it to you.
That's fine, I just wanted to make sure that it was in there.
Interquartile range method. Eric, you want to describe that?
No, I'll wait for the
Yeah,
public
go
hearing.
ahead.
Emily can cover it for you guys.
So if there's no changes, we'll update some of the dates on here then for the final one. To see, we're probably looking at a month or 2 worth of work to get the database correct and upload it onto our system for the bill. So we're probably looking at sometime probably April, May for the first bill to go out for this.
Okay. Good on that one?
Mm-hmm.
Are we doing anything with 6E, or are we just moving along past that?
What's 6E?
Bluff Tower Water Main Replacement, Administrative Services Engineering Agreement. Do we need to do this?
We're hoping to approve it.
Okay.
It's something that we never did enter into, so.
Got it. So we just have an engineer doing work for us on the project and we haven't paid him yet?
No contract on it.
No, without contract. Got it. Okay. Would you like a contract?
That would be good, yeah.
Are you sure?
And this is on me that it's coming to you after the contract.
This from, yeah, from somebody who made us approve something after it was in the paper the day before?
Yeah.
Okay.
Right. Still working on getting the processes. And this, so all of them, this one, I have zero excuse because we've been talking about this rebid for a while. Ridge Road is a little different.
I'm not gonna lie, I didn't read this, so
That's just
did
fine.
anybody else move through this?
I can give a quick overview. I tried to do that with the memo, so you wouldn't have to read through everything, but basically it's what people think of as inspection during the construction. We call it RPR, Representative Project. Representative, wow, cut Devin's cold sitting here. Resident Project Representative is what I actually call an inspector, but so we estimate the amount of hours that he's gonna be out there, how much we've got our survey crews out to do staking, that kind of thing. Any underground work is required to be observed by a qualified professional for the DNR for the grant and the permits. And so we estimate how many hours we think it's gonna take us, and that's what this is. It's on time material. As I was kind of scoping it out too, we have the potential of 3 projects, construction projects happening at the same time. For sure, 2. Ridge Road is following the same restrictions, construction restrictions the DNR put on that Bluff Tower has of mid-May to August. So we're gonna follow in the same kind of timeframes, but this is basically the engineering contract to
Be the village representation.
be the village's representation
Okay.
for the construction.
Does this match the CIP? This cost? I don't wanna have to go back and look.
And it does help that we're getting the 45% principal forgiveness
Mhm.
on this one too, which both retroactively, the design is eligible for.
Yeah, I mean, I know it's water utilities project anyway, so, but, okay. All right.
Are you, maybe I misunderstood something. Are you billing it based on the schedule that you supplied us when we agreed to move with SEH?
He bills us for his actual time.
Okay, but it says lump sum here.
No,
Estimated to be.
That's the design for River. I think you maybe
Oh,
scrolled too
maybe I
far.
scrolled too far, sorry.
Yeah.
This, for the Bluff Tower.
Stops
it's-
on
it's all
206.
time material, and
Oh,
yes.
yeah, I did, I scrolled too far,
Um,
sorry.
So yeah, it does follow what was in the proposal last January.
Okay, I will look for a motion to approve this contract.
So moved.
A
Thank you,
second.
Arvid. Thank you, Nicole. I have a motion and a second to approve this contract. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, say no. Motion carries. Now we're on the next one.
Yep. So
6F, River Street and Third Avenue Reconstruction Design Amendment 1.
So this is to do the design of extension of storm sewer from Fourth Avenue to Fifth Avenue on River. And so right now the project is scoped just Third Avenue, the block of Third Avenue and a block of River from Third to Fourth. This would go from Fourth to Fifth and bring the storm sewer up there. And the reason why the staff wanted to extend the project is the current scope, just the 2 blocks, doesn't utilize all the funding that was
Got it.
appropriated to the project.
Okay.
When the project was put in for the LRIP grant dollars, it was actually all the way to the north end of the river. And this storm sewer, which is eligible costs, is in the long-term planning for the village, and that's what staff decided to propose here.
We're trying to spend the LRIP dollars that we haven't used up yet. Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
That makes sense. I will look for a motion to approve Amendment 1.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Thank you, Ron. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Arvid. All right, we have a motion and a second to approve Amendment 1 to that design contract. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. Motion carries. Okay, let's go around the room. Neil?
Budget. There is going to be a new mayor up in St. Croix Falls.
Mhm.
And I think it would be wise for a reexamination of the police department idea that was put on ice.
Wonderful idea.
So don't know if that is a conversation for the full village board, but I would very much like to have an update in February or March about where things are, because we should pursue that aggressively.
When's the next police and fire?
Probably in about a month or so.
Might be able to get it started there first, unless you wanted to reach out.
I'll just talk, I have monthly talks with Ryan, their administrator.
If you reach out and then we can get an update, and we should get that meeting scheduled, because I don't think we've had one in a while. Police and fire, because I'm on that, aren't I? I'm sure I am. It's been a while.
Co-op.
The co-op model between Village, Osceola and St. Croix Falls, the shared police department idea.
I don't know that the owner of a candy shop is gonna be any better position to have this discussion, so I hope this doesn't come up for discussion again.
Probably going to be the lack of opposition more so than anything else.
That's it.
I got nothing.
Thanks, Mike. I don't have anything myself. Ron?
Me either, no.
Arvid?
Just mention that Wyatt Yeager has resigned as the director of the bid. And I assume president back there is going to be seeking a new employee. But I feel like Wyatt has done a good job for downtown over the last 2 years, and just want to recognize that.
Okay. Thank you.
I have nothing.
Okay, thanks, Nicole. All right, we are adjourned at 8:14. Thank you, everybody.
Thanks for your battery. That was close.
Hey, I mean, 2:15 is not bad.
Yeah.
Considering what they have.
A lot longer.
Nice design on the cabin, by the way.